excellent session, which is for the particular session which the Triple C has organized, which is the Consultants Consortium of Chennai. They have been organizing such type of quality seminars, which is relating to every sector, whether it is food, whether it is cosmetics, whether it is engineering, anything, or medicines, anything which is there. So they have been organized, they organized for in the month of November. So today we have it like the session is on construction quality, the falling bridges, buildings and roads, and where is the construction quality heading. So I will be your host, myself, Neeta Sharma, and I'm a civil engineer for last, more than 42 years of experience I have. I have been in the area of, the quality, actually Bureau of Indian Standards for over 25 years. I was in the construction field, and now I'm a freelance consultant. So coming to this particular topic, let me tell you, although it may not be very pertinent, but I could not say no. I'm not here in India. It's very early in the morning, around 4:30, but I could not say no because the topic is very interesting. So I wanted to hear everyone who is from the government sector or the private sector. So why is it happening? We have seen that in the recent years, numerous alarming incidents have been happening. The bridges are falling, the buildings are crumbling, and the roads are, very improper. So what is the lapses that we see in the area of construction? The economy has come to a higher level. The designs are in better. Everything is there. Standards are available. So what is happening? Why is it actually disrupting our life? So the question that we normally address today is not just about what is going wrong, but why and how to fix it. So that is the intent. So our discussion today, we plan because it has been very extremely well sorted out, which will delve into the various underlying issues, like why these failure occurs, from material choices to design flaws, to supervision, to regulatory requirements, even the role of corruption. I would like everybody to touch that topic also. So we will explore into the potential solutions and how the innovations in technology and stricter enforcement in the quality standards are going to bring a breath of fresh air to all the stakeholders. So this issue not only concerns the regulators, the engineers, the policymakers, but even the normal consumers, like anybody who is using that kind of facility. So with this, we have spelled out a very I would say this has been worked out, covering all areas and all aspects. So we have with us about 5 speakers in 4 sessions. So I would like to say about the first session will be taken by, I think, J.K. Prasad, you are not having an issue. So I will introduce all the speakers first, and then they can take 20 minutes each, because we need to have some session for the question answers session also. So the first session will be taken by J.K. Prasad about the national international construction safety standards. Uh, I mean, uh, like if I tell you, J.K. Prasad was my senior colleague also in Bureau of Indian Standards. He has over 40 years of 45 years of experience, I should say. He was the former director of Bureau of Indian Standards, former chief of Building and Material Technology Promotion Council, which is BMTPC, which was focusing on identification, promotion, and evaluation and cost effectiveness, environmental friendly, and disaster resistant building materials and technologies. He is also a disaster management expert. He contributes to national housing programs also. And he was a consultant and member secretary at the Quality Council of India too. So I am not taking much time to brief them, but yes, everybody should know whom we are going to. So you have with you especially the brief experience of Mr. J.K. Prasad. He would be speaking on the national and international construction and safety standards. So I think over to you, Prasad. We take 20 minutes. So maybe just 5 minutes before, I will give you a click that, the session will be over in 5 minutes. Okay, Prasad, over to you. I think, yes, to save the time, let us
I have joined.
Sunil Mahajan
Rama's done a good
joined.
job of getting us to participate now. Can I see the... yeah. Here it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's kick off the topic first of all. We are talking about construction safety and where are the quality standards, etc. Let's start with the basics. Okay. How many? I mean, I will make this an interactive session, and please uh, give me a reply, not merely from Google, but from your own knowledge, so that we are actually able to get into the depth of the thing and it sinks into everybody, because this is a very critical topic today. As you can see from the huge number of falling bridges and broken and the accidents on the partially broken bridges. How many kilometers of roads does India have? Total number. Any response? No. Okay, let me kick it off. I think we have a limited time, so I'll get straight to the topic. We are looking at 67 lakh kilometers of bridges in India. That was the figure last about 6 months back. I think we've gone further up to 69 lakh kilometers. National highways is about 150,000 kilometers. State highways is about 185,000 kilometers. And the rest is, the other small roads and local roads on the various states. That's a huge number. And this is the largest road network in the world after United States. We are also looking at the problem area, which is the bridges and the the structures along these roads, and which means in India we are looking at about 180,000 structures, including the ones on the national highways and the other roads and highways. That's a huge number, right? We have also seen the large number of accidents, the large number of collapses, the large number of problems which are happening on these bridges. Over the last 2 years, that's been very, very clear that we need some attention. And what is more, we are proceeding to build more at a very breakneck space. This space is now catching up even further now that the government is now firmly back in the saddle. We are looking at not only the construction but also the problems which are associated with the construction. The problem comes mostly with the bridges which are more than 20 years old. I will not even say 40. The the ones which are more than 20 years ago, and that's when the quality actually of the bridges started deteriorating more than ever, for whatever reasons. I'll not go into the politics of it. Whatever the causes, we as engineers have to address the issue in a systematic manner, and the authorities, we keep depending on they should do it. No, ultimately it is us engineers to make sure the authorities listen to us, and we have the expertise to address the problems which are required for the bridges and not have any reduce the maximum the problems to the minimum. As of now, about 55 lakh bridges in the country require immediate attention, and that is a huge number. These 55 lakh bridges require trained professionals who can, first of all, have the expertise to properly evaluate the state of the bridges, which means we need engineers who are specifically trained as bridge inspectors. CIDC, as the apex body, it's our job on behalf of the government to keep an eye on such things and take initiatives to, anticipate and take corrective measures as far as possible, as far as we can, and as far as we can promote others to do it to address this issue. CIDC has been running for the last 4 years now, training programs on certifying, first of all training and then certifying bridge inspection engineers, bridge inspectors we call them. And what is interesting is, if you take the examples from the West only, it is not necessary to have an engineering degree for it. For the inspection, merely for the inspection part, we can have diploma holders also. And diploma holders means they are practically oriented, and yes, they also qualify as engineers after a few years of experience. The numbers required of such inspectors is huge, and frankly, CIDs is not being able to cope with the requirements, though we are doing our best. We'd like to invite all of you to our inspectors programs. See our website and join the programs, but as and when you can. CIDC has been actually concerned with this problem for a very, very long time. And the safety and the inspection of the bridges, and we could talk about the retrofitting and the repairs of the bridges is the second part, is something we have been addressing for some time, and we need many, many more people to join us. In fact, we are now going across nations, and we've signed treaty with Dubai, the Dubai Authority, the Board of Certified uh, Safety Professionals, and we are going to join hands with them to take this effort to get the global players in also and start addressing this problem on a serious note. The various aspects of this program basically revolve around number one, the basic knowledge. Now, and as an engineer, we all know our basic of engineering, but the specifics of bridge engineering, especially with the introduction of the let's say IT inputs where automatic monitoring etc. can be done, and automatic fault lines come in automatically, alarms come in when there's a potential problem in any of the certificate these structures. And in this context, I will remind everybody to have a look, zoom it, Google it if you want. The one of the biggest, some of the biggest problems in these structures is in the United States, where bridges were built a long time back, and there have been incidents of even the highways collapsing because they are, on the kind of elevated levels, mainly because the proper care was not taken care of them, or they were not replaced in time, or they were not repaired in time. Our problem is going to be much worse because they are looking at steel bridges which they can easily recycle and rebuild. Most of our bridges are basically concrete, reinforced but still concrete, and they will need very specific training for continuous monitoring and repair. So we would like to invite everybody to join us in our programs and see what they can do to train their own organization professionals in this field, which is a now a booming field. We've already, trained and certified around 1,700 people, more are on the anvil, but we need thousands more. Please join us as soon as you can. And as for the one of the major problems which comes up at the various state level is many of these functions are left to the state PWD people or the bridge and road, departments. Most of these departments have so many routine duties that the engineers just don't have time for this kind of inspection. Many of them do have knowledge, but most of them have limited or you know kind of a not bridge oriented specific knowledge. That specific knowledge we are now interacting with them to impart to the state level bridges, but we need much more. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahajanji, for a very brief introduction about what actually CIDC is doing as a part of inspection. So I do have some questions, but I will leave it to the end so that everybody gets time. I think to save time, let me go to the next speaker from, can you put the speaker's profile on? Mr. Ramagude Vikasji. He is the Joint Managing Director of Maharashtra State Infrastructure Development Corporation. Just put the CV. Yes, he has 35 plus years of experience in civil engineering, and he has specialized in bridge and building design projects and executed majority of coastal projects, and has an experience in the state of Maharashtra. He's a lead design and execution. He led design and execution of over 800 RCC buildings and so many of the bridges also. And the current role as joint MD, he is also taking leadership in training and conducting several training programs, including 1-year training for 300 Class 1 officers and 50 workshops on the concrete durability. He has been awarded various, he has been, yes, so many awards and has been recognized for various, outstanding works. The Engineers Award in 2004 and 2019, Hiroji Indulkar Civil Engineering Award in 2023, and the Best Design Award also for Mezzacon Court Buildings. He has had several technical contributions, published technical papers, and contributed to 23 government documents and advised over 1,000 engineering inquiries in this field. So I request Mr. Vikasji to give the presentation on what is happening because of the deteriorating construction quality. Vikasji, please unmute yourself.
1 minute, madam. Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. I have a small presentation, but again, there is some problem in sharing. So till that time, I will discuss a few, say, chronic issues in, say, quality, maintenance, and the total upkeep of the, say, bridges, buildings, and roads. Basically, I have worked much more in designs and construction of bridges and buildings and other structures. But here, just like what the Mahajan sir said, the people are normally the graduate or they have the specialization from some post graduation or some another specialization uh, in structural engineering, geotechnical engineering. But they lack in the basically the practical understanding. And secondly, the most important issue is the basically training according to particular. I think you are getting the you are seeing my presentation. Okay, so madam, is it visible?
It is visible, sir. Full screen mode,
Yes,
please.
we can see.
Full screen mode.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect, sir. Perfect.
Or you can use your thumb to expand.
Here you can see we have very marvelous structures. Even in past we have the Taj Mahal and so many beautiful bridges. We have survived for 200 years, 250 years. And the basic issue, the difference between today's era and the old structure, what I observed that most of the old structures were in masonry or concrete, and mostly the arch was the form used for the say construction. Environmental pollution was less, so there were lesser durability issues. Traffic was less, axle loads were less, and because of compression, no cracking, and because of that, higher durability was observed. So today people are saying that those bridges have survived for 300 years or something like that. And what is happened to the modern era bridges? So these are the few points. Again, today it is the total hurry that uh, कल का आज करो आज का पिछले वाले कल में करो. So that was the speed, and during the last say 10-15 years the speed has enormously increased. The infrastructure projects are also increased, and the competent personnel to handle that increased workload, I think that has not increased in that proportion. That is the one of the issue. So it's a very common thing. Yours is a quality forum, so quality is ability to fulfill the function. And what the Ruskin say said in a right way, that it is never quality is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention. So you must be will, there must be efforts, sincere efforts, and there must be intelligent direction. And again, the skillful execution, which is there is a supervisory part and there is actually execution part. There is a planning part, supervisory design part, supervisory part, but there is a literally the skillful part which come from the skilled laborers. So that is again missing what in today's scenario. That is what. And what the Ruskin further said, it represents the wide choice of many alternatives and the cumulative experience of many masters of craftsmanship. So here he defines the necessity of good builder, good material, good machineries, good intention, good training, and the skills, and they are guided by an experienced personnel. I am showing this one picture, which is a bridge in Maharashtra, which has completed more than 450 years. It's a single lane bridge. Still, it is scattering the traffic. It is meant. It is just say repaired nearly for 2 times, but strengthened, but only because of compression form and lime mortar and light traffic, it survived for more than 450 years. There is another 100 years a very beautiful open spandrel bridge at Rajapur, which is still performing very nicely. There are so many masonry bridges in this state of Maharashtra and even in the country, even with the railways, they are giving the service to the nation from last 150 years to 200 years. The basic challenges what in the government department, what we are seeing, that is the rapid pace of infrastructure development, ignoring the quality and other aspects. Basically, these are two parts. There is a rapid pace of development of infrastructure. This is one part, and the quality is ignored just because of non-availability of that much quantum of experience and skillful executors, even designers, and even the administrators, because the quantum has increased to a very large extent. Second is quality of material. Just when the RMC was invented, people were saying that now civil engineering materials are factory controlled materials. But for steel, yes, definitely BIS standards are being satisfied. But for quality of material, sand is a natural material. Even aggregate, we can't coarse aggregate. We are not sure about the basic gradation, and we are not sure about the basic methodologies. And that is that from RMC, what is coming that we have to accept. And many times, the basically the quality of concrete, which is the basically the highest use material, has problems at the manufacture site. Again, the transportation, then placement, compaction, curing, the centering forms and whatnot, they are all having the problems because though the infrastructure has increased to this quantum, the development of skillful say executors is again a lacuna. Then execution methodology, where just like mixed mode traffic, we have the modern plants to very rude and crude methodology. So and rude and crude equipment. So this is the vast spectrum, and uh, we have not the experienced executors, even the laborers, supervisors who can cope up with the say modern methodologies and modern equipments. Lack of, I have already explained, lack of sufficient skilled human resources. This is the utmost important point what I am observing today. uh, our railway are supposed to be the railway bridge engineers were supposed to be world class bridge engineers in the previous era, but today just like Mahajan sir said, the expertise and the specialization in government sector is day by day diminishing. And the another issue is because of transfer and because of say excessive administrative loading, they have say, lesser time available for looking into the technical matters. And so there is a circle of, we say that no experience, so no judgment, and again no judgment, so it will produce the lesser experienced persons. Unavailability of advanced machinery, so it is, there are say discrete projects, there are remote projects, and as the our basic execution methodology is the lowest bidder who is costing who is giving the lower cost, or say lowest bidder is the accepted for many of these tender forms, or because of that it may not be possible for those bidders to go for the advanced machineries. More importance to quantity over quality. Ours is a country where the output, that too in form of quantity, is given stress, more stress over quality. That is one thing which we can observe. Labor intensive approach instead of mechanization. So here, what are the errors of say ignorance? They have increased, and they are increasing because it is our most of the projects are even today are labor intensive, as there is a lesser mechanization like that in electronics or that mechanical industry. Environmental factors, civil engineering projects are different than say mechanical or electronic or all other projects or products, because there are environmental factor. Each breach has may have the similar say similar configuration, but may have different foundations, may have a different exposure conditions, may have different say standing water, different execution methodologies are involved. And because of that, the specialized people in a particular environment and in a particular form of execution, they are rarely available, or they are available in a very scanty proportion, I can say. Then the bidding process, I have already touched the point, that lowest bid approach. And because uh, that the people may go non-executable offer, and because of that the first uh, the problem is of quality, and then the rest of the things are happening. And there are limitation in bid evaluation because there is no say centralized data of the contractor, that how much works are in their hand and how much is their capacity. And so the contractor have definitely a particular capacity, but they go on accepting the works much more than their capacity. And this cannot be checked because different organizations are having These contractors have they are working with different organization and different departments, and so the centralized data is not available, and because of that the contractors or bidders are accepting more works than their capacity, and because of that there is the first is again the uh, problem is with the quality, because their personnel, their equipments and their management, they have to cater more than their capacity. So what are the basic things which are affecting the quality? I can say at planning stage, inadequate or no investigations. So people for geotechnical and other investigation, normally it is 2 to 3% cost is there, but people are normally avoiding this to save the cost. This is a false economy, but they are trying for that. So many bridges, many buildings, the foundation failures or hydraulic failures of the bridges are due to inadequate or no investigation. Many times they see the exposed rock and they say that it is suitable for open foundation. But when go for excavation or when we are resting the bridge foundation at that particular strata, below particular depth, below that foundation, we may have loose pockets and there may be further settlement because of that. If we won't have the proper hydraulic data, many bridges, high level bridges get submerged and they may get washed away. Inadequate design. We have a very fantastic tools, the very sophisticated softwares available, but the logic in putting the parameters in the softwares and the experienced personnel in the designs, they are lacking. There are very few excellent designers, and because of that, uh, many structures are basically designed functionally as well as structurally inadequate. Even the architects, they are fond of different shapes and sizes and whatnot, but very few are basically uh, giving full attention on their functional as well as structural aspects. Improper selection of type of structure foundation in bridges. This is a typically the things that where to go for open, where to go for a rough type of foundation, and where to go for deep type of foundation, and how to arrive at the capacity of the foundation. Again, the lack of investigation and lack of say experience personnel is again the problem. Inadequate detailing. Sudden collapse of the structure is impossible if the detailing is proper and foundations founding strata is okay. But irrespective of that, many of the structure there is a sudden failure. Even during failure, during construction failure, it is one of the reason is inadequate detailing. Again, because of unexperienced or non-qualified people. Then overlooking the durability aspects. Only strength and functional aspects are not the important things. Stability is not the only important thing, but durability, because uh, there is a global warming, there is a higher carbon dioxide in the air, there is a corrosion because of fluoride ingress or sulfate attack and whatnot. And so most of the structures which were designed before 2000, the very lesser attention was given to durability aspects. So it is one of the important thing which is missing. Day by day, we are aware about that, and different advanced products are being developed. So we are tackling this problem. But many of the old structures, they were not given due importance, was not given to durability, but it was only strength and stability was given that say importance. And because of that, many structures have distress. False economy. The initial cost, capital cost is less. The contractors, even department, they are very happy about it, but it is false economy. Life cycle concept of life cycle cost is required to be uh, taken into the consideration, that if the structure is designed for 100 years life, so what is its capital cost and what is its maintenance cost or upkeep cost at the end of the service life, uh, which is giving the say, lesser cost. That structure is of course a good structure. So concept of life cycle cost, not put it in the tenders or in bidding process, or not even talk over or giving some considerations. Avoiding proof checking of designs, third party audit. There was a bridge in Bihar which collapsed, the cable stayed bridge which collapsed 2 times in the similar manner, because because they have the same set that we have designed, the same people are checking. So proof checking or third party audit or third party checking is very common in all developed countries. We have to either stick up to the IITs or the government institutions, but the professors have the very sound theoretical knowledge, but the practical experience is missing. So this is one of the major reason in collapse of major bridges and major building structures, uh, because the most critical issues are being say overlooked because of uh, avoiding proof checking of the designs or third party audit by say expert and experienced persons.
So we have 3 minutes more.
Yes, sir. During construction stage, unavailability of skilled human resources, I have because of that there are centering collapses. Many structures like bridges, they are collapsing because of foundation failure and durability issues, and the major issue is the construction failure, that is that is the modern equipments or launching entries, the operations are not done as per requirement, lack of training and testing facilities, inadequate implementation of quality assurance manual and documents, negligence in safety measures, improper construction methodology. Basic major failures are centering or false work failures. Improper detailing is again the major issue which is causing the failures. Improper sequence of construction, again just like that Bihar issue. Non-use of proper plants and machinery and substandard material. During service life, this is most important what the Mahajan sir stress, excessive loading than design loading because of improper implementation of say transportation rules and regulations, settlement of foundation, improper detailing, again issue that is okay on paper or in design drawing, but not implemented in actual execution because of unavailability of skilled personnel to interpret the design, inadequate maintenance and availability of funds. These are two different issues, but they may come together. Improper documentation and records. Once the building or bridge is constructed, so records are not maintained, and for further repairing and that records are not available. Lack of expertise for structural inspection and diagnosis. So that is again issue. One can see these are the very fantastic modern bridges at the time of say construction or just after construction, but maintenance is the main issue. So flood damages of the bridges are basically you can see in first figure it is because of wrong hydraulics. In second bridges again wrong detailing. Third, foundation settlement, and in fourth, high level bridge get over topple and it becomes submersible bridge, and bridge is not in position to survive. Again, ill maintenance, there is a settlement of foundation of the right hand side, and there is again left hand side there is a settlement and bearing, and the superstructure get damaged because of this. Again, pre-stressed concrete, the cable get break because of improper maintenance, and the entire superstructure fails. Again, here the foundation strata was not identified perfectly. Foundation was rest on set level strata, so there was a differential settlement of the PR. Again, here there is a sand mining. This was a rough foundation resting on soft strata, and the foundation was taken 2.5 meter below the say, bed level, but there was the excavation of the or mining of the sand more than 3 meter, and because of that the bridge fell because of settlement and other issues. So here,
So can you just hurry up because
yes,
the
this
time
is
is
just
short. We have two more
half an minute
speakers.
I am finishing. So factors affecting the quality of road projects. So again, there are the nearly same components, but the environmental factors and the traffic diversion and other, these are the major issues here. In building, the common factors are similar, but the additional factors are you are excavating, if you are working in a congested area, you are excavating near existing structures, you have to take the protection. In Pune or Bombay, there are so many cases that because of excavation of new building or new project, the older buildings have given way and there are casualties. Same thing is with the road and building projects. Improper maintenance. You can see there is a coastal structure which was not protected right. Left bottom, there is a scouring, there is a improper compaction, and basically there is a swimming tank which was not designed properly, and so when it was empty and there was a rainfall because of groundwater or groundwater pressure, it has given the bottom slab has fed. So these are the things basically. So structural, functional, geotechnical investigation, and regulatory things are very important. And the last, that start to improve this, we have to start with what is available. We have to do something of it, and we should be never be satisfied with our quality standards. We have to improvise it. We have to go for precast construction. We have to mechanize more and more, then, and we have to invest on investigations. We have to train the people. We have to make them aware for the quality. These are the net issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vikasji, for a very detailed kind of a presentation. And I'm sure we will have a lot of questions after all the speakers have said about it. So next section, I will request Mr. Amar Kool, who is a sustainability strategist and director at CABE Foundation, which is the Center for Accessibility in Built Environment. He would be speaking about sustainability in construction. So speaking about his experience, he has over 15 years in the field of sustainability and ESG, driving impactful projects across the industries with a focus on aligning operational and financial strategies with global sustainability standards. And he has developed and led initiatives that secured funding for green projects and managed certifications like IGBC and LEED. He has been in the leadership in various high-profile projects. He has contributed to national policies. He has skilled in strategic planning and stakeholder engagement with a proven ability to drive project success through effective leadership and management. His commitment to long-term sustainability is consistently delivering economic and environmental benefits and establishing reputation as a leader in sustainable projects. So over to you, Mr. Amar Kool, on sustainability in construction.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll quickly start with a few pointers which, so I'll be restricting this discussion to the road sector particularly and infrastructure sector, where the most of the discussions are happening, because sustainability is a very wide range of issues, and if we start dwelling on different aspects of it, it basically expands to every aspect of what we do and what we do not, including quality. I mean, quality is the fundamental of sustainability. If you'll ask me, if you are not able to maintain the quality standards and quality materials and systems in your processes, in your program, sustainability cannot be achieved. It's an underlying statement. I mean, without quality, there is no sustainability. So you have to have a quality. You have to have maintained a certain processes in a certain way, in a certain methodology. Otherwise, the whole aspect or whole practice of sustainability goes out of the window. I mean, it's all then it's all about the documentation and what you are submitting to the authorities, and whatever the regulatory requirements are coming up, because that can be done very easily. So I'll share you some of my experience which I've worked on in my stint as a sustainability consultant or as a head of ESG in my infrastructure experience. Some of the aspects. We've been discussing a lot about the bridges and the quality of those bridges. So yes, we face those issues very specifically, and we try to intervene. Rather intervene in terms of the sustainability aspect, asking two things. One is the steel, because there is a lot of discussion, how whether you should adopt for a virgin steel, or is it going to be the recycled steel, and what is the understanding. So would like to really communicate here very frankly that when we are talking about the recycled content, so there is a two aspects to it. Is one is recycled, then recyclable. So recyclable is, most of the things are recyclable, and you kind of understand that आप उसको you can reuse that particular aspect or recycle that particular aspect of that particular material. When it comes to the recycled content, especially on steel, because that's the most contentious issue when we talk about material and uh, impacting sustainability in the quality aspect or in the construction aspect. There is a You have to really understand sustainability. Again, that's why I said sustainability doesn't talk about degrading the quality aspect of the steel. What it says that when you are actually developing the or when at the manufacturing stage, the steel production should be using more of a reused steel, which is available in the market. So it does not negotiate with the quality and the strength of the steel. It just asks for the quantity which is being used, and from the virgin material which is coming from the ores directly, and then you are basically going through the entire process of steel making, and then it reaches there. So I don't know. Just for your surprise, this is what I've seen, and I've worked with one of the best companies across the system, the manufacturers, including JSW, Tata Steel. They all ensure that at least 15% of their steel is recycled. So it doesn't mean that they are negotiating on the quality of it or the strengthening of it. Please don't really understand that. It's a very simple message. It does not do that. What it does, it actually reduces the virgin material which is coming from the ores, and you are extracting more resources from the environment and then causing it. So that is one thing that we have. It's a message. It's a discussion that is still open. We are still going to talk to authorities and regulators and telling them that see, we are not really talking about reducing the quality of steel. That is one. Second, when we talk about what we have done two major during our road construction experience. We have made two major interventions. One is using of inert materials, or inert materials is from from our landfills. So what we have done, we have separated the landfills from a certain kind of product and clean them off, and then use it in our embankment. So wherever the embankment is being done for soil, we mix it with the soil. So again, reducing the quantity of soil to be put in. Again, not without compromising on the quality. So we have made a lot of tests. We have gone through a lot of specific requirements, and then we have mixed them. We have tested them. We have proved everybody that see, this could be done, and then we have went on and put that inert materials and that mix into the in our embankments across the road, and those roads are doing pretty good. They are holding very well, and I mean even better than what there is. The third thing that we have done, which is very, very significant, is use of pond ash. Now, pond ash is readily available. If you'll ask me, and if you go to the NTPC plants and you start asking for the pond ash, they will actually supply you. They are actually want to give you as much as it can. So there is a difference between pond ash and fly ash. So just wanted to give you a little understanding. That pond ash is the waste which is coming out as a secretion, as a wet waste kind of thing. So it basically develops in a pond, and then it's not that dry as fly ash is. However, it is still dry. So pond ash, we are using it in our systems. Again, we have used pond ash extensively, reducing our soil content. So almost we were able to reduce soil from our embankment to around 5 to 10%. At a point, we were able to reduce it by 15%. So 15% of soil being reduced from where the resources have been saved. So that is another aspect of it. That's one of the biggest aspects, rather, because reusing pond ash in your embankment actually does two things. One, it actually captures the carbon which is being emitted out, and then you are reducing the resource use, or the earth that has to be dug up through borrows and other aspects. So we were able to save. So this is a double whammy kind of thing, that you are able to save the soil, as well as the extra carbon, or the carbon waste which is coming out from the power plants. So pond ash and inner materials, these are the two things we have actually practiced it. We are doing it very extensively, and I know a lot of construction companies are already doing it. Again, stating the same thing which I started my statement with: we do not negotiate on quality. Without quality, it cannot be done. If you are not able to meet the certain specifications which is being given, you should not do it. That somebody has said, that Amor Pool has said that you should include pond ash and you use it as it is. No, you should not. You should test it. You should understand. You should make sure that it is being as per the requirement, as per specific requirements. And we have done that. Similarly, for the fly ash, again, we have started it as a kind of a pushed out requirement, but then we eventually went on and started using in all our operations for concrete mix from our batching plants. We have started procuring more of a fly ash content, and almost again 5 to 7% of fly ash content is being used to replace the cement. And obviously, I mean, we've been using OPCs and to make sure of that. So these are the 2-3 things that we have done specifically in order to initiate the sustainability quotient in our entire. So what it does, it actually gives you a lot of offsets from the carbon, and you will be also. We were actually targeting at some point of time. We were still figuring out that we are able to create the carbon credits out of it, which is the talk of the town right now. I mean, with COP29 which happened, and this whole agenda for carbon credits has been created. This is a very, very interesting aspect for offsetting pond ash and using it in embankment. It can really help us in getting those carbon credits, and it is beneficial for the contractors, concessioners, as well as for the government. So it's a win-win situation. Then I would like to mention 2-3 things. So one of the things is material procurement. So material procurement is in any of the construction processes is very, very critical. So this has been my observation, and we've been trying to reduce that aspect. For example, in one of my projects is in Bihar, and we were procuring bitumen from Visakhapatnam. By that, it used to take 7 days for a bitumen to reach Bihar, and then again you have to heat up. You have to reach that temperature that it melts, and then it is being used. So we have started identifying refineries which are around it, and try to reduce that distance and that approach. At the same time, we have started talking about reducing coal in hot mix plants, because hot mix plants have been using coal very extensively. So we have requested them, and we have kind of talked to them. Obviously, there is a question on the cost, but then the cost aspect has to be dealt with. I understand that there is a certain pushback from that perspective, but then we also have to understand that using coal extensively in a hot mix plant, it doesn't really help out anybody. It is going to cause a lot of other issues, the health issues as well. And I'm in Delhi, and I know we are already facing a big time, air quality issues in Delhi overall. So there is a big issue for those aspects. So we have started talking about using, ethanol or other aspects of fuel to reduce the emissions, and it can be done, and on a smaller scale we've been experimenting them, but then a larger understanding is to be required. So we have done all these things in our projects. One other thing, so couple of things, the stormwater, the control of stormwater, critical management of stormwater. What I've seen, especially in our coastal areas, what happens that when you have developed the entire embankment, the entire soil is being prepared, and now you have to just start doing the DBMs and everything. And at the time you get the rains, and they are heavy pouring. What happens? The entire everything is being the soil erosion happens, and then what you have to do? You have to do the rework again. So the rework can easily be avoided. We just need to start concentrating and figuring out how to either we plan it accordingly. What is the timeline? How do you how do you make sure that the soil erosion can be minimum? I mean, I'm not saying that it cannot be zero, but how it can be controlled, how there are curbs to be put in, there are systems to be put in. So
5
I've
more
seen.
minutes, Mr. Amar. Just 5 more minutes. Huh?
No,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you. Yes, I'll be done. So these aspects are very, very critical to be taken up and effectively planned. Then couple of things more, just 2 things I will talk about is effectiveness and proper planning of environment management plan. So environment management plan is already been in place. Most of the time we kind of ignore it at the time of construction activity in terms of execution. A lot of environmental management systems have been ignored. Sometimes not really intentionally, sometimes intentionally. So these things have to be dealt with. These things have to be, and to be very honest, if you implement the environmental management plan appropriately, the quality of road automatically improves, because you are actually reducing the weathering of the road or weathering of the structure at the first place. You are actually doing a lot of good, and in a systematic way. The moment I talk about systematic way, the quality is being maintained, and then there is no question of issues for structural failures or other aspects of it. So it all linked. So when we talk about the structure part of it, or when we talk about the integrity part of it, the sustainability comes with it. If you are not able to do that, the sustainability also goes out of the window. So if you want to be sustainable, if you want to make sure that your projects are sustainable, then they have to have a better quality implementation. The last point I would like to make is the demolition waste, the control and monitoring of demolition, because the waste is being usually dumped on the roadside, and nobody really takes care of it, and this happens across the India. You just put everything on the sides, and then you assume that somebody is going to take care of it, which really never happens. And it's a waste which can be reused. It can pay you back. So one, until unless you monitor, until unless you track, so you cannot do really anything about it. So until unless you know the number that this much of waste is being generated, whether by milling or debris or boulders or anything else which are coming on the roads, you really need to identify, rather track and monitor what is the quantity of that. Once you get the quantity of that waste, then you're actually able to create a lot of value out of it. that's a valuable proposition. It's not a waste as such. So the team or the construction management, the contractors have to start looking into it. It's not a headache, rather it's an opportunity that we start to look into it. So with that, again, I would like to conclude my discussion here, and with the same statement that without quality, there is no sustainability. Until unless you maintain proper quality products, proper quality systems, proper quality processes, the sustainability has to follow it. And if you don't do that, the sustainability, I mean, then it's all paperwork, and paperwork can be done by anybody. So until unless you really intend to it, the quality and sustainability go hand by hand. Over to you, Neeta ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amar. It was a very interesting session, and I'm sure that we all will agree that without quality, nothing can ever be there. So I'm sure J.K. Prasad's thing has been sorted out. So we'll have a session from Mr. Prasad on national and international construction safety standards.
Well, maybe I guess you can proceed with the Q&A session, question and
I'll
answer
proceed
session.
with the Q&A.
Please,
Yeah, I mean,
please.
yes, it was a very interesting session. I mean, I have really noted on my few points being a civil engineer and having worked in the design part and then in the quality control framework. So I have a question for Mr. Mahajan and Mr. Vikas, maybe. What is the status of third-party inspections at present that you feel in your projects, especially in the private and government sectors? At every stage, I mean, it starts from the design, because yes, many designs have failed, and in process construction, because so that you know that the supervision and everything is correct, and also at the commissioning stage, and whether you are following international standard 17020 or not. So maybe we can have a discussion on this. Mr. Mahajan, you can come over one, then we can have Mr. Vikas.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
See, third-party inspection is frankly rarely followed in India. When it is, the methodology of the third-party inspection also leads a lot to be desired. I'll not go into the negatives of the reality. But yes, third-party inspection is being followed in certain projects, which is working very well, where third parties are really highly qualified professionals. This is only in specialized, some specific cases. We need, even for third-party inspection, we need specialists. We need real specialists who have worked on the ground, who have experience in the construction part also. We are lacking the same. Again and again, as Mr. Vikas also pointed out, we need people who are specifically trained for specific things. Now we are looking at a huge pool of requirements of various specialized people. And it is not necessary we have only engineers. The fact is that today's engineers, when they come out of college, even if they are diploma engineers, the only thing they want to do is get into a job, get into in front of a computer, and tap out things on the computer. It's becoming more and more difficult to get those people in the field. And CIDC has done some work on that. I mean, we trained graduates in a way where they were acceptable to the people, to the industry. We got, for example, we tried with Mewat University, right? They were having very bad placements in their civil engineering sector. We made them a proposal. Give us a batch and we'll make sure they're employed. I mean, the employment rate was terrible. We got first batch of 15 people, 6 girls. The first thing we did was to get them out of their blue collar, mentality. Day one, we put up where there was a stack of bricks. Our own head office was, our center for training was being constructed at that time. We asked them, each of them, including girls, lift the stack one by one and place it on the other side, stack it again. It was simply to get them out of their, blue collar mentality, and that's becoming a very major issue. And we talk about so many engineers, they're not engineers. They're people who have been given courses in engineering. Engineers are people who want to get off their ties and go to the field and work. Shockingly, the first day we had, believe it or not, 6 dropouts. None of those dropouts was girls. A very interesting part. So out of 15, we had 9 left the second day, 6 of the girls. And of course, within 1 month, we had a 3-month program, but within 1 month, they had all got placed in very good placements. Because industry is looking for people who, engineering graduates who are willing to work with their hands and has some basic knowledge. Industry is very capable of giving them specialized knowledge within their own domain. That is one of the major issues we are facing today, that we may have a lot of numbers of people, but very few people who want to train themselves. Second aspect, as I was giving you the data for the qualifications for bridge engineers, you'll be shocked. In USA, they take people who are barely 12th, high school graduates. They give them specialized training in bridge inspection for 2 years. Okay, just like a ITI, but very specialized training as bridge engineers. They call them bridge engineers, and some of them are getting fantastic salaries. On average, yes, it is normal for an engineer there, which is quite high, because the number of people required even there is very high. Yeah. The
It's a
specialized
wonderful
knowledge,
discussion.
we see we have a large number of people. We need now stratified people. People who are
Yes,
stratified and specialized in certain fields. And
I
my
know.
bridges are today are believe me, I'm horrified looking forward. And what's going to happen to our huge amounts of roads and bridges we are constructing?
I know
As
because people,
as a 70-year-old man, I know that my future generation has to
yeah.
take into this account, and we keep driving this into their heads. Okay.
I know this was a wonderful discussion we have, but I come to know that Mr. Prasad's audio system has been fixed. I request Mr. Prasad to give a quick presentation for 15 minutes or so that we can follow up with the question answer session. Prasad?
Aarti, can you please share the PPT? Yeah.
My presentation is regarding standards for safety in construction.
Just 1 minute,
Really,
Prasad. I think we
yeah,
have a limited time.
No,
Actually,
I'll finish.
Ramaji, you can say. Yeah.
I'll
I know
finish
that.
in 10 minutes. Don't worry.
Oh, fine.
Because
Perfect.
everybody is aware about this. Only some important things I have to talk. I'll
So
not talk much.
We have 15 minutes. We can
So,
continue. Please continue.
So actually, this was supposed to be delivered by BIS people, and only yesterday night, Mr. Johari told me I was not prepared for that, so I prepared in a hurry. But I'll speak on some important things which we have been facing in BIS and elsewhere. So when we talk about this building and infrastructure development, the stages which are there is planning first, selection of material and construction system, selection of construction agency. Then when you do all these things, you initiate construction. Then you start earthwork, then foundation, plane, then superstructure. That time, material availability, material quality, laying and fixing becomes very important. When all these things are done, superstructure is completed, then you use joinery, doors, window, fixing of these things. And simultaneously, plumbing and electrical services are fixed. plumbing, which is one of the very important aspects, and Neeta has worked on this in previous organization as CEO, and she had been training plumbers. Waterproofing, then waterproofing, fixing of hardware, including, and then finally you finish it. And once you finish it, you simultaneously develop related infrastructure, and then landscaping, and finally the building or structure is in use. So making use of this building infrastructure, and then operational problems start and maintenance and other things. So all these things, why quality is important for development of this. First, safety. We primarily structural safety and fire safety cannot be compromised in any way. Then you have durability and longevity problem, and efficiency in construction. Then you have environmental impact of the construction, and this leads to economic growth. And once the building is complete, people living in that has quality of life, and the structure should be resilient. So in all these aspects, what is the best way? Best way is to follow some standards. And you all know Bureau of Indian Standards playing a pivotal role in establishing specification of code of practice guidelines for construction material practices related subject through different technical committees to achieve this objective. We have been a part of this, both Neeta, myself, and others have worked extensively in this area, and we have drafted our own many standards. So that, I mean, skipping this Bureau of Indian Standards, everybody knows what is their key function is to develop standards and then promote it, and through ISMR quality control is also done to promote sustainability, durability, and safety, including for emerging construction technologies which are now coming up. So why we should follow standards? Standards, when it is formulated, it is through a technical committee represented by many sectors. Technical peoples are there, consumers are there, important organizations are represented, experts are there, and through different stages, preliminary stage, wide circulation stage, and other, fair amount of acceptance is already there when you have a standard. So even CPWD manual, if you see, if there is Indian standard, they straight away follow it. So importance of standards in construction is it will bring safety, quality in construction material and methods, will ensure structural stability and resilience against natural hazards, including fire, durability, material that withstand environment, sustainability, eco-friendly material and energy efficient construction technology are prioritized. Then performance, consistent stresses extend services life of structure, quality leads to better performance and reduce maintenance. And key areas of standardization, if you see, the material aspects are there, construction aspects are there, safety aspects are there. And through all this technical committee, if I just highlight few of the standards which are very important through these slides. If you go, now planning, when you start planning, there is a committee functional requirement in building CED 12. Where important standards like guide for daylighting of building 12440, IS 1950 sound insulation of non-industrial building. Then IS 3362 is natural ventilation of residential building. And then recommendation of orientation of building part 1, non-residential building. Once at the time of planning itself, half of the battle can be won if planning is done properly to utilize sun and weather condition. So these all are very well presented in these standards, and the handbook is there, SP 41, which gives functional requirements of building and covers most of the things which individual standards have covered. And then when you plan for earthquake type of disaster, there is a code IS 4326 which guide you what type of structure should be there, whether it should be H type or not, like this. And there are many other aspects also covered these at the time of planning of an earthquake prone area. Now, once you plan it, then comes design. The design part, what do you need? Loading code is there, 875 part 1 to part 2, 3, 4, 5 is the imposed loads, wind loads, special loads and load combination. 1893 part 1 criteria for earthquake resistance construction gives requirements of earthquake forces. These all are important for design. Then once design is then you select material, whether it is concrete or steel or timber. If it is concrete, IS 456 code of practice for plain and reinforced concrete is there. If it is a steel, IS 800 code of practice for general construction steel is there. Timber, IS 883 is there, even for that. All these are also covered in National Building Code, but I feel in individual standards undergo revision in a quick succession. So it's always better to follow that. Then earthquake resistant structure 1893 is required for earthquake resistant design. Structural safety, then fire safety. Fire safety is fully covered in Part 4 of National Building Code. And most of the bylaws, they follow Part 4 of National Building Code. Then recently, BIS has also published criteria for structural safety of tall building. All these provisions were not applicable to tall buildings, so recently this standard has been published. Once all this design is, then you start construction, the first thing comes material quality. So material quality, again, if there are 3-4 things are important: cement, concrete, steel. These 3 are basic materials which normally, even for prefabricated construction or in situ construction, these will be required. The cement standards are there, IS 269, ordinary Portland cement, where 33, 43, 53 grade all are covered now. IS 1489 is Pozzolana cement. Then you have also now quality parameter is fixed for supplementary cementitious material, also called mineral admixtures, which are now extensively used for concrete making. So 3812 part 1, pulverized fuel as cement used for pozzolana cement, mortar concrete is there. Silica fume, which for high strength concrete, when for bridges or any infrastructure structure is required, silica fume has to be used. The quality is covered under IS 15338. Then most recently, GGBS, ground granulated blast furnace slag, is very much in use in concrete by ready mix concrete and other concrete technologists. So IS 16714 is a very new standard which is covered under that. And ultra-fine ground granulated blast furnace slag is also covered. Once cement and supplementary material is covered, taken through these standards, aggregate is IS 383, and these are dynamic standards. So recently 383 has also covered for manufacture this stone, dust and other things. How much percentage? These now fine sand is almost non-available in most of the parts. In Tamil Nadu, if you go, only manufactured sand are there. So if quality is not maintained, your concrete quality will not be maintained. So IS 383 now covers how much percentage in what circumstances you can use. Other then you need chemical admixtures, which is covered in 9103. And then other important in RCC is reinforcement. Different types of reinforcements are in market. All those are covered in IS 1786, 500, 550 grade, ductility more than 14%. And these are covered. And concrete as such is covered through IS 456 and 4926, which is ready mix concrete code of practice. And as I earlier told, fire safety is part 4 of National Building Code. Then their walling elements comes. Walling elements is covered by different standard as shown in this common burnt clay bricks are there, pulverized fuel as lime brick 12894. This is very much in use now by many, especially in Andhra Pradesh and other parts. Fly ash bricks are used. Then 2185 part 4 is cellular concrete blocks, and part 3 is autoclave cellular concrete block. Autoclave ACC blocks is now in Delhi. If you see the construction, multi-story construction, most of the builders are using this ACC blocks. Earlier only there were 2 manufacturers, Ballarpur and Sirke. Now a number of such manufacturers are there who are producing it. But quality is very important in these things, and 2185 prescribes those specifications for autoclave cellular concrete blocks. Cellular concrete block is CLC, which is in short called. It doesn't require autoclaving. And here also some material like foaming agent, etc. proportion is very important. And standard provides all those detail. Then you have a specification for new material in panel and walling system has been developed in IIT Madras with Australian counterpart. I have been involved in development of this standard also. IS 17400. This is the specification for glass fiber reinforced gypsum panels. Then you comes to joinery. Joinery is also covered by different standards which are listed. I am not read it out. These all are very important standards. Then hardware in construction. Hardware ensures structural stability, safety during construction and operation. And fire-rated doors are there, locks, fastener, helps. All these are covered by a sectional committee, CED 15 hardware sectional committee. Number of standards are there. One can always see these standards from program of work of Civil Engineering Department of Bureau. Construction stages, we say now foundation is very important, where there are two important standards. IS 1080, 1904 is their general requirement for design construction of foundation and soil. Once materials are available, its use is also important. So code of practice is simultaneously developed normally, should be developed if it's not developed. How to use the material. And BIS has CED 13, where more than 100 standards have been developed for different material and their use. The code of practice. Recently, we in Ministry of Housing, we were constructing lighthouse projects where new technologies, new materials are there. And while construction is going on, there are lots of problems faced while using it, small things, which are normally covered when you develop code of practice for such. If it is not developed, these are required to be developed. All these are also covered in a handbook, all these standards problem. Then you have waterproofing, which is an important one. Most of the building structure many times fail due to leakage and dampness. So waterproofing standards are covered through a committee, waterproofing and dam proofing. Plumbing is, I consider, most important part of construction, where if it is not done properly, the person living below your floor suffers most. So plumbing is also covered by many standards. And there are a number of standards on sanitary appliances fitting and their fixing. One should use all this. Then during construction, you need a construction management, and a series of standards have been formulated by CED 29 by BIS, which covers different aspects of construction material, budget, planning, and other things. Then you have National Building Code, which is which take entire things into one book, and in different chapters, all these are covered. All individual standards which are important are covered in a systematic manner. Chapter 11, approach to sustainability, is very extensively written by many experts, and which are required to be used for not only safety, sustainability, which we have to deal now. And it also talks about an integrated approach by multidisciplinary team comprising of different professionals, architects, civil engineers, plumbing engineers, geotechnical, and all big projects should have all multidisciplinary team to work with. Now, these are some of the standards which I thought are important from construction point of view, but there are about 1,700 standards published, but still many new material, new technologies are required to be covered, which are still not there. What are the advantage? BIS 10 ensures building are earthquake resistance, wind resistant, and freeze safe if it is designed and constructed according to the code. Materials are designed to resist wear, weathering, and fire, ensuring long-term structural performance. All these standards have not been published without any information. And many standards are there which, like cement itself is one standard where extensively it was tested when for testing Indian standard sand was required to be used. So that time extensive testing was done and it has been used and then only Indian this grading was done. So sustainability encourages the use of eco-friendly material and processes while meeting fire safety requirements. Then market trust, I'm not sure how much everybody is will agree to, but BIS has certification mark scheme where ISI mark products are there, and the scheme is such that if it is followed in right spirit, quality will be maintained in the factory. So now, but we have challenges. How to implement these standards? That is a problem. Still, especially in remote areas, if you go, ensuring that standards are applied. Particularly for new technologies, there is nobody to guide. Then there are awareness gap is there. Although BIS is making all efforts to popularize standards are there, but still there are awareness is not there about safety, earthquake resilience, structures, especially new construction methods like prefab and monolithic. Monolithic is okay, monolithic construction has some design criteria fixed now. So what is required to be done by Bureau is new technologies which are coming up. Those should be covered through technical committees suitably. And National Building Code has got some provision which when I was working with BMTPC, we had developed performance appraisal certification scheme for new material and technology. Suppose there is no standard, Indian standard, should we stop using those material and technology? No. But there should be some system where one can use with proper testing and knowledge. So a performance appraisal certification is which is called as PAX in short, provides that with the understanding of Bureau of Indian Standard, these guidelines were developed. I was working with BMTPC at that time, and I was involved in framing the guidelines for performance appraisal certification scheme. Then we, in National Building Code present version, we included a chapter where if any of the materials are not covered by Indian standard, how to check what criteria are required to be checked, and then one can always use those materials. But finally, if Indian standards are developed, it is good. Problem comes when there are some proprietary systems. National standards cannot be prepared on any proprietary system, but suppose the system is good for the construction, one can always use packs. Now, when I was working with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, we had Global Technology Challenge, GHTC, Housing Technology Challenge, where 54 new technology were identified, and then 6 lighthouse projects at different places, Chennai, Lucknow, Tripura, Ranchi, and Rajkot, with different technologies were constructed. 5 of those lighthouse projects are completed now. Only 1 is left because of many political and other problems in Tripura. It is not complete. But all these technologies are now required to be covered by national standards through Bureau of Indian Standards.
I think, thank you, Prasad.
Yeah,
If we can wrap up now.
yeah.
We've already finished. That's
Al-
good.
Already finished.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So now we have come to an end of the session, and we had a very interesting session. Let me just wrap before we catch up any discussions part, because we had a very variety of, covering all aspects of construction. It starts with the standards, the availability of standards are there. And because construction is a very wide area, it starts from the design part to the in process, as well as the, before commissioning. And it starts from the design, and design is also there of the foundation, starting from soil, then superstructure, then having all other arrangements, which are electrical, mechanical, and plumbing, and everything, that the subject is very vast. Standards are available, regulations are available. Then we had a session from Mr. Mahajan, who said about, yes, they had started about the inspections, and to inspect, one should know what is to be inspected. So the people who are doing the inspection should know what I have to go and see there. And especially in construction, every site, the requirement will be different. So yes, the competent people have to be there so that they are able to do the inspection pertinent to that site. The bridges will be a variety of types, but they should know what I have to go and look in this building, what I have to go and look in this road which is there. Similarly, Mr. Vikas also touched upon the various, what are the importance of quality and quantity, and, how the non-availability of the centralized data of contractors is a big, I would say, a challenge. Same Mr. Mahajan also said, to get the experts of a particular field is very difficult, because we know that nowadays, even civil engineers, they get admission in the college to get the degree of engineering. Then they switch on to the computerized side. They learn certain softwares and go there, So this challenge will always remain. So that is why, taking into account the challenges which are there, we have to work out the methodology so that we have competent people over there. And Mr. Amar Kul also touched very briefly about the sustainability in construction. Of course, sustainability is very important. Everybody is talking about the carbon credits. We have to use the right kind of materials. But yes, the right kind of materials, if it is not constructed in a way that it has to be done, if the structure is not, designed in a proper way, or maybe it is not implemented. So the implementation part has to be seen. So, of course, Mr. J.K. Prasad covered everything which is available in the form of standards. Yes, standards are available. But in case if the standard is not available, there is a provision for checking its quality, so once they follow the protocol, That is why my question to Mr. Mahajan and Mr. Vikas was, how are they implementing the international standard 17020, which is about the third-party inspections? Like if any organization has to be doing that kind of, the inspection, what they should do? They should follow certain protocols. Definitely, construction is a very wide subject. So the specialists have to be there for that particular activity, whether it is foundation, whether it is construction, whether it is RCC, whether it is steel structure, air conditioning, plumbing, the areas are immense. So I would like to know, because I had put a big question to Mr. Mahajan and Vikas, that how does the industry bring in competent people? This is going to be a challenge for the lifetime. So how do you plan to, arrest that? I think Ramaji will tell. I think we have certain 5 minutes. So maybe few words from you then before we wrap up.
I think I'll take that. You see, that is an issue we have been, I think maybe you know about CADC. Let's introduce ourselves. We are the apex body of construction on behalf of the government. Our job is to find the potential problems and build solutions for them. If necessary, implement them ourselves. This stratification of personnel is something which has been there from ages, but unfortunately, at various levels, emphasis on the specific types of training at various levels, for example, worker level, supervisor level, even engineer level. Today, even engineering level. It was not so much earlier. The emphasis on the training received in college is not about what it takes to be an engineer. And frankly, that is something where I will quote somebody who, in my first lecture in IIT Kanpur in 1970, Dr. C.N.R. Rao, you must be knowing him, he's the Nobel laureate. I mean, he was nominated twice for the Nobel Prize, but he is a Bharat Ratna. He took our first lecture in IIT Kanpur, Chem 101, chemistry. But one lesson we learned from him: look, we are not going to teach you engineering the next 5 years. What we will teach you is how to think and to make thinking a habit and to make learning a habit and to find data sources and to how to employ them. That is a primary lesson which is not taught to anybody nowadays. That you have to keep learning and upgrading yourself all your life. He told us very clearly, by the time you graduate, we had a 5-year course. By the time you graduate in 5 years, what I teach you in engineering is going to be outdated by the time you graduate. So the attitude of the engineers, while they are being trained in college also, has to be that you have to be learning all your life. One. Number two, as of today, as the apex body, what do? We are now, we have been focusing for almost 18, 20 years on the lowest level, the worker level. Now it's become fashionable, this RLP, RPL, etc., etc. We have been aware of this problem for a long time, and we've been taking, measures to mitigate that issue. Another issue which comes up in this training and certification is the quality of the trainers and the certifiers. Fact is, it's become a big business now, and all kinds of certifications are being handed out. What is the value of the certifications? What is the value of those trainings? That is something which needs to be taken up, and we are taking it up very seriously. We have certified almost 4 lakh people, but each of them has gone through a rigorous process of testing. That rigorous process of testing has been there, and because we have been there for 20 years, so we have those numbers. But yes, we find it very difficult to certify more than per team of our inspectors, more than say 12 to 15 people. And whereas we find certifying agencies who are doing with one team, almost 100 people being certified. No, that's not going to bring quality. Second is the training of the when you talk about the first level, you talk about workers and supervisors, then the engineers. As we discussed, the attitude of engineers needs to change. Can we do it? Well, we are working with the AICT and other organizations for that, but that is a long, drawn battle. The training of engineers has become critical now, as you mentioned, madam. You quoted me that we need not more engineers now. We need very specialized bunches of engineers who are trained in specific jobs within the construction field and who are very specialized in that field. That emphasis needs to be increased more and more. Third, question was brought in about the BIS and its work. I mean, it's an amazing organization. Within the resources it has done, I've been participating in the National Building Code in the management segment and also the steel segment. With the limited resources they have, they're doing a wonderful job. What about the implementation part? That, frankly, is not within their control to a large extent. Let's talk to implementation part. And somebody asked about private versus, government. It's in the question, this thing. Whether it is the most reputed companies or the, middle level ones, a common usage nowadays is of concrete. Okay, we use RCC for the various buildings that we use. Has anybody tried to check the quality of the concrete being provided, for example, by the RCC people? They come under, they have the labels of the best brands in the country. They are basically franchises, but even they are not being controlled. I'll give you an example, our own example. In the making of our own center in Faridabad, we asked for RCC, and frankly, we were quite skeptical. So we went to the plant and found there was no testing laboratory for the concrete being issued. And when we tested in our own lab in Faridabad, we found that what was being touted at that time as M25. Now, higher grades have come in, that M25 was what you needed. We found it was just M18. In other
That is why
words,
we always say that there should be a third party inspection so that at least some kind of checkup is there by an independent third party coming over and saying. And now you say that the laboratory itself was not there is really amazing.
I mean,
How
it's a
they could
reality
be.
of life. It is a very famous brand nowadays. I mean, it's one of the best, so-called best companies. But they give the franchises, right? And they
Yeah.
hope that the right quality of concrete will be handed out by the RCC, RMC people. It doesn't happen. Again and again, the quality aspect is something we just don't have many people to check the quality, which is why now we are focusing so much. I mean, fact is we were actually to suffer losses because we took up the job of certifying as third party inspection in some projects, major projects. That was about 10 years back. And of course, we are a bit fanatic, so we did the checking every day, sent the reports every day, and made recommendations every day. But then political compulsions come in, other compulsions come in, and the recommendations are not followed. So, well, everybody has to earn a living. So various consultants are kind of taken in. Many are very good. I know that. Yet, yet at the same time, are even the recommendations of the third party and observations of the third party being followed by the project owners? And what are the compulsions of the project owners? It's a very complex kind of a situation. And somebody asked, which is better, private or public? Sorry, man, this is only one thing. It depends on who's running that particular shop.
Yes.
We have found national banks which are excellent in some branches and lousy at the others, right? And we have found as even the multinational stores, some superb and in some places and really lousy at the others. So it depends on who's running at that particular shop. That's the
You
answer to
said the attitude of the person who is
of
doing
the
it.
person running that particular store.
In that
That's
case.
it.
Yes.
It's my own
So
personal example, experience. About 40 years ago, I had invented some stuff and I was started manufacturing and supplying. And I was told, no, national banks are this bad, that bad, they'll take bribes, etc. Then I found a manager who, gave me a drubbing that you are from IIT and you are trying to give me a bribe. I mean, this is a nationalized bank. So it depends on who's running the shop. It's my own personal experience. Okay. So I just told him, yeah, I was told I had to do that. I said, he gave me a few curse words and well, he sanctioned my loan, etc., etc. It just depends. That is something again we have to focus on, a centralized agency which will check their own, various things. It is happening. It is happening. Slowly it is happening. So let's hope it keeps happening.
yes, I mean, I think that's what we do on behalf of Consortium of Consultants Chennai. I thank you all, everyone, because the presentations were very wide, starting from standards are available, regulations are available. There are people, interested parties who are doing it actually. But the construction as such is a very wide field, very wide area. So you need the experts, you need a pool of people who would be able to do it. Definitely it's not the end, and maybe it's not the beginning. We just keep learning from our own mistakes. Then so that's it. So thank you each one of you for that excellent session. I thank Triple C also for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this group, because because we know the challenges what are existing. We know what are the loopholes. We know that, yes, and that's what Mr. Mahajan said, some pressure coming from any political party. And what Mr. Vikas ji also said, that sometimes the tendering process is such that you have to give it to the lowest person, unless you're able to, somebody who is sitting there is able to make a justification that why I will not go to the lowest. But that will never happen, because vigilance case will start against them and all those things are there. So there are a lot many things to be done. But yes, the standards are available. The attitude of the people who are doing it has to be correct. So once that happens, I'm sure we will be able to bring in the quality in every aspect of construction and our life too.
One last word.
Yes.
You see, the procurement process, as you mentioned, needs improvement. As you know, as I said again, as Apex Body, this is something we've been focusing on, and definitely we improved the processes of various states and some of the organizations like Central Vista. That's a
Yes.
good example of good engineering and good operations, where despite the shortages of qualified people, they trained them. We were part of the process. They made sure the certifications were valid. We have been participating in these aspects. This thing about government and private, please get rid of that in your minds. We have very good people in the government today also. Okay.
Yes, I
As
can't say that, because I have personally worked in a private sector, then in a government, and again in a private. Now I'm in a freelance consultant also.
Madam, I just want to add regarding the
Yes.
questions. That training, Bureau of Indian Standard is very active nowadays, and every quarter they have the very good seminars, that too online seminars. The Hyderabad has established the institute for the training of the government itself has developed the training institute for skilled laborers. our government organization, IITs, and we have so many seminars on that. But in addition to that, on YouTube, little videos, documentaries, they are much immense helpful. They are now the government is going like that. Somebody asked about the third party and that. Even we are all going for now EPC contract, and we are the consultant, authority engineer, proof consultants, independent engineers. Now even collaboration with the private your international consultant, day by day now the upper engineers are getting trained. uh, in our organization we have a concept of the contractors are not if giving the attention. We have developed the independent testing firms we have appointed, and they are appointed by the department, and their sole, they have to just collect the sample and they have to test everything as per the BIS law. So because of that independent authority, there is a much improvement is seen. And finally, the IT is used for monitoring, uploading. So different apps are available, and those apps are very useful. That even after half an hour or after 3 hours, we want that whether the querying is done or not. That can be checked by sitting into the room. So these are the very positive sides uh, of the construction. And the last point, even from the college we should first train the professors for practical aspects, because they are saying if many of the raw material is coming from that billets of iron are coming from the colleges, and again they have to orient. So they I think they should have at least 3 months program for their own graduate students, and those must be trained by professionals. That's all.
BIS is doing such educational programs also, but I would next time request you or Mr. Mahajan to organize such a, I would say, group discussion for all the engineers to come to a particular state. I thank Triple C and Ramaji for taking up this topic, and it was a very interesting. Although we had very few participants, but they were the knowledge exchange was very interesting, I would say. Thank you, everyone, and Ramaji, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot.
Thank you, Nita ma'am,
Thank you,
for
thank you very
hosting the
much.
session today, and thanks to all the speakers and the audience. Let me quickly go to your participation. This is something which we have been observing during the daytime due to workplace challenges. People are unable to participate in these conversations, but you visit all our YouTube uploads of each session. The viewers who are watching all the sessions online, the numbers are amazing. And so they are actually interested in learning. That is the reason why they're all registering for the programs. The moment they get registered, they'll have access to the recordings. They can all visit regularly. So this is what we have been doing throughout the month, multiple sectors. We finished manufacturing quality, and all the upcoming series are related to services quality. We wanted to have a dedicated regular conversations on construction quality. Honestly, many people ask me, change the title. Are you going to retain the title like this? I said the title is the problem statement in the country. Why should I change the title? Said, are you going to talk about construction compromises, falling bridges? Yes, bridges are falling. Everybody is talking everywhere. So why don't we create a conversation and then try to understand problems? And we don't find much of regulatory conversations on construction. Honestly, I just came to know about this institution through Mr. Anil Jawri, CIDC, and looking at the kind of work that they are doing. It's amazing. And we really wanted to bring that dimension from somebody, because she is representing a government infrastructure. So we just wanted to understand multiple stakeholders' views. And somebody said, create conversation on sustainability. I said, problem statement is quality. Let us address that first. Sustainability will happen automatically. So the reason is we need more such conversations. This assurance is not there for a common man. And whether it is residential constructions or building infrastructures or common public infrastructure, somewhere the assurance is not there. The confidence has come down. Every time you see many things are falling, even on the private side, residential buildings are falling. In Bangalore city, last month you saw one spell of rain and then the buildings crumbling down. So time to have some conversations so that some correction can happen at the marketplace, and the assurance is what all of us are looking for. That's the reason why we've created the conversation. very good insights from all the speakers. We really offer our sincere thanks to them. The session recording will be updated and it will be shared. And the key takeaways from each speaker also will be shared. We'll be compiling a newsletter at the end of the series. It's massive, about 20 plus sessions we are organizing. So we're going to compile all the conversations, key takeaways, and we're going to circulate it to various sectors, industry, and stakeholders. We will keep inviting you all for the future sessions. Please do join us. These are pure knowledge sharing sessions. We don't do any commercial programs through our association. We are interested in creating more such conversations. Something like quality.
Madam, just a request.
Please.
Let the
please.
sharing be done on WhatsApp. Okay. Nowadays, hardly anybody goes to the laptop.
Yes. Right. We'll do it. I'll share it with you. I'll share.
Yeah, please do, so that we can also have a good conversation.
It is popularly known as WhatsApp University, the great source of knowledge.
We will do that, and we will keep inviting you all.
Sir,
and
there are
maybe some-
universities and there are universities. Within the university, we have a specific one now, which is actual knowledge sharing, real knowledge sharing. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
we are
I think
interested.
CCC is going to be heading that cell.
Knowledge sharing will
Yeah.
continue to do. We will invite you. It's a very brilliant takeaways from this, and we will see to it that it reaches the wider audience also. So with this, I would like to wrap up for that. And the next session we have is on 28th on educational services, on regulations for coaching centers, something new which has come up in the country. Another biggest problem statement, the coaching centers drama. So some regulations are introduced. So we're just going to have a conversation on that. Construction series
everything
will
will be
continue. Neetaji will keep inviting
Thank
you. Please feel free to drive the conversations on construction, and a
Yes.
platform is available. We will continue to work, and we are here to spread that knowledge. And civil engineering, where are the civil engineers first in the country? That's the biggest challenge. And any engineering college is saying core subjects, nobody is interested.
No,
And
they
you are
take
the
civil, I said,
Let me contradict you,
this-
madam.
the
It
computer
doesn't
science.
need a civil engineer to be a civil engineer. Okay, it doesn't need a civil engineering degree. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, IIT Kanpur. Okay, I learned on the field, and the basics are same in both in mechanical and in civil. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
they are
In fact,
saying
full of civil and
And
mechanical.
just a stat for you, every major project, 40% of the project cost is from mechanical engineering, and today it's increasing because of pre-engineered buildings.
world of multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, sir. So this is how it's going to be, because that's where we've got into too much of super specialization, I guess.
Yes.
So it is going to be
Even
the
IT is the share is increasing. Much share is there. After mechanical, IT is the share.
Today even civil, because there's not much focus. So today engineers are interested. They are saying we don't find much opportunities in the core. That is why we are migrating to other domains. Now there is a call of action given in the country, you know, that the government started recognizing the need for building core skills in the country. So maybe this is the time for all of us to contribute, to drive the conversations and spread the knowledge which will benefit the country. It's a nation building exercise. And I personally feel, as a management system consultant, I keep joking all the time, we find better systems in the government side, better protocols defined there. The problems are something else, but the things, some systematically, many things are happening in the government side, which we don't see in the private sector. It's a fact. And so how are we going to improve the whole ecosystem? And that's all it is. So thank you once again for that rich insights, for staying back and sharing your thoughts. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you,
madam.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.